Alright, come join Kyle, John and David as they go through what's on the playlist, find out what's everyone's favourite at Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. We have a few segments, to be honest, in and out points, no celebs and the gossip, back in time where we're talking about the big M's, coming attractions, what the cue, quick checks, who'll be laughing, you abundantly. Welcome to Dual Redundancy.
Yes, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you can all latest in television, entertainment news, and Emmy nomination reactions from too many hosts with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and the third one is
Kyle Bridger. I would say that I am the sugar bear to John's Claire bear to Dave. He is the bear. Because he controls it all.
Yeah, like what is it? The heart and soul of this. That's what Carmi was trying to throw to Sid there.
Yeah.
I guess a little spoiler of the titular bear season 4 finale. We'll talk about that. We got a lot to talk about there. We have another animal related show with Squid Game season 3. It was at the end of Squid Game. But before all that, we have this. I don't even know how this ceremony, this nomination breakdown of everything for the Emmy nominations. It's been a while. Feels there's so much to talk about. We should go right to it, John. I'm so we haven't done this segment in forever. I legitimately forgot the name of it. What is it?
In and Out Points.
Yes, it is in and out points. I'm so rusty, John. I couldn't even throw to it. I was so just not there. I better work myself back up. Today, really just one big in and out point, and that is Emmy nominations. They were announced on Tuesday, and these awards are going to be honoring shows that aired from June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2025. So this ceremony is going to be held on September 14th on CBS and Paramount Plus. It's the 77th annual Primetime Emmy Awards. Again, June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2025. That's very important when we get to some of these shows, including when we talk about The Bear, because we're talking about season 4 of The Bear today, but we're going to be talking about season 3 of The Bear when we talk about these Emmy nominations.
Oh, God.
Season 2 of Squid Game would have been eligible for these nominations, but we will be talking about season 3 of Squid Game later in the podcast. You got that? Yeah, everyone on the same page? All right, okay.
That's so confusing.
Very confusing. Well, let's talk about some overall leaders, and then we'll break down category by category here. Severance led all nominations with 27, followed by The Penguin with 24, and then The Studio and The White Lotus tied right behind with 23. If we look at the major nominations, the one you'll see in that September 14th broadcast, it's Severance and The White Lotus with 10, followed by Adolescence with 8, and then we got a three-way tie for third. The Penguin, The Pit, and The Studio all with 7. But overall, Kyle, let me get your thoughts on these nominations, the big leaders, the top trophy wannabes here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think those that got the most nominations are probably the most deserving out of the pack that I'm seeing. I've been seeing a lot of think pieces recently about is peak TV done? And I got to say, after looking at the nominations as a whole, I think peak TV is done. I think from now on, we're going to get a few solid choices and then some other ones that mixed in that maybe had elements that were good. But I really do think Severance probably deserves the most nominations. Very, very, very good quality show, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it just sweep and take everything come Emmys time. I really like The Penguin. Not surprised there. And all these very, 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 I guess it should be expected that they should be there.
Yeah, and I think expected is the right word, because before these nominations came out, I think if you asked me to write down the six drama nominees, the six comedy nominees, I probably would have gone five at least, maybe six, like six for six. Like they're very chalk, I feel like. These are the
Hmm.
ones you're expecting. Maybe like one is like, oh, that's a surprise. But like all the other ones are like, yeah, of course. And then if you were gonna ask me, we're gonna be the top vote getters, it's like, oh yeah, probably White Lotus. Yeah, definitely, Severance.
Hmm.
Penguin's gonna get a lot in limited series. Like it seems very like, of course. And I saw this piece like with like Severance where it's like again, I like season two a lot, but I think it was like almost like a make do for season one. It's like, man, we really should have given more to season one. So it's like, all
Mhm.
right, shovel it all now. And you could always tell there's like a tide with the Emmys where it's like, man, we really missed the boat on the first season of this show, honoring it. So it's like we're going all in. We're
Hmm.
every single thing, the entire category, of supporting actors. Like it's I mean, in the beginning, like talk about Succession for a while. Season one, okay, got some noms here and there, but then it's like by season three and four, it's like every guest actor, every writing, nominee,
Hmm.
every it's like deservingly, but also it's like going all in. And I feel like the same with these as you're talking about with peak TV. It's like, all right, we're gonna go all in on these like seven or eight shows. These are
Hmm.
Emmy voters have time for eight shows, and that's it. That's all they have time for. So we're gonna just if you were on those eight shows, you got a nomination.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if you look, obviously the Bear had a noticeable drop. It's down to 13 nominations. A year or two ago, it was the leader. It was the Severance spot. Um, Makes sense. I think like there's been a lot of
That
love
season
loss
was
with
interesting.
yeah. I mean, there's not only was season three not where it probably should have been, especially after season two, but also it's like there's been a lot of that backlash of like, what are you doing in the comedy race here, the
Yeah.
Bear? Like, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
Mhm.
And I think we got to have that discussion when we get to the Bear season 4
Yeah,
because it shouldn't even be in comedy
no,
anymore.
no,
It's a 35 minute drama.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Sometimes then you get those episodes that are like, we got one or two in season four that were like over an hour long. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Um, but yeah, and then if you look at some of the limited series, there's some that I was surprised with some of the love here. Like um, obviously not the Penguin. I knew the Penguin was going to get a bunch, of course,
Hmm.
Adolescence, but like I feel like 11 for the Menendez Murders Monster
Mm.
series. Yes, like Dahmer did really well, but I feel like nobody really talked about that one. I feel like that came and went. Same
Hmm.
with like something like Dying for Sex.
Hmm.
Again, like I'm aware of this show existing, and I feel like they really love Hulu. Some of the Hulu miniseries always, I
Yeah.
think, do well. I remember like Chippendales, I think they did a series, Welcome to Chippendales, that got a lot. And I was like, again,
Hmm.
do
Mhm.
people watch this? Like, but anyways, those are your vote leaders. Let's look at by network. It's always a race between Netflix and HBO. However, last year HBO lost to both Netflix and FX. This year, it came back with a vengeance. HBO Max led a record haul of 142 for them. That beats their previous high of 140. Netflix was second with 121, and then Apple TV Plus was third with 81. I think that's, it makes sense. Again, we mentioned it last year when we talked about these Emmy nominations. It was down here for HBO. It's because, yeah, like all their stuff was waiting. Like it was all delayed because of those strikes. It's like, yeah,
Hmm.
we didn't have White Lotus. We didn't have The Last of Us. We didn't have all these shows. And then, okay, now they're back this year and they all came out at once. And that's great. And sure, like you look at Netflix's number, it's like, oh, it's still pretty high there. I was almost there with HBO, but it's like I also feel like Netflix has like a gazillion more shows and
Yeah, they're
docs
just
and stuff that they're
pumping stuff
doing.
out. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if all those get one nom versus like all these like HBO's 10 shows get 10 noms, it's like
Hmm.
quality over quantity there. But for me, I think overall impressed with Apple. I mean, they're the newer ones on the block of these services, and they also have the most series noms in the drama and series or the drama and co comedy categories. I mean, you have they have two, I believe, in each. They have Severance and Slow Horses in drama. They have Shrinking in the Studio for comedy. Both those, the studio and Severance, are the leaders and maybe possibly presumed favorite to win. So it's like not bad, not bad for Apple TV Plus. Any thoughts on by network here, Kyle?
I mean, like you said, not surprised to see it. Like I said, Netflix just pumps out content, so you're right there. It's like maybe they've got one or two shows that are very popular, and then everything else is just getting a little bit of love. Apple TV. We've talked about it on this show before, but just their marketing with their shows. It's like, what is it?
Hmm.
What it's almost by not marketing, they're kind of creating all their shows equal, and it makes it tough to know
Yeah, what to
like
check out? Yeah.
what should I check out? What's worth it? I mean, I watched about this isn't even I don't think nominated, but like I watched like three-quarters of a season of Silo, and I'm like, is I don't really want to keep around with this, but I love Slow Horses, and I know they have some other good stuff. So, um, yeah, I'm not surprised. And just going with HBO Max, it's like, yeah, the HBO is the quality of this programming.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have just kept this
Hmm.
marketing, this
No,
logo, this
no.
strategy that to begin with.
Crazy talk. Crazy talk, Kyle.
Somebody
Yeah.
doesn't make a lot of money if that happens, Kyle.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true. They have to pay for all these focus groups of, oh, like what if we
the
combine these two
consultation.
words? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, then again, like what does it even matter with HBO and the Max and like the two like it's the combination because it's like when we do these numbers, it's like, okay, Disney Plus is separated from FX and Hulu. But then again, we've always talked about FX is on Hulu. Hulu is a tile on Disney Plus. And so if we add all those together, plus ABC, since Disney owns all of them, they get 135 nominations. So it's
Mm,
like,
mm.
are they really second? I don't know. It's just dumb, but they still track it. We still talk about it. So here we are. But all right, let's get to we're gonna really kind of go through like drama series, limited or anthology, and then comedy, and we'll talk about some snubs and surprises along the way. Let's go to drama series first. Severance led, of course, with 27 nominations, and they're joined in the outstanding drama series category with Andor, The Diplomat, The Last of Us, Paradise, The Pit, Slow Horses, and The White Lotus. John, let me get your thoughts on these eight nominees. Expected, unexpected, snub, surprises.
I mean, I'll be honest and say I watched Severance, I watched The Last of Us, I watched White Lotus, and I haven't seen anything else. I hear Slow Horses is good. I hear The Pit is good. I don't really know much about Paradise Diplomat. Andor, I feel like is one of those things where is it propped up because it's Star Wars Disney? Like I don't know. I haven't seen it, but that's I don't have strong thoughts on the other ones just because I don't know much about them. You know.
I mean, people love Andor, even non-Star Wars fans. I haven't gotten into it. It just seems like again a lot of work, a lot of lore, a lot of it's just I don't it just and sometimes it's like, oh, you gotta check out the Mandalorian. You gotta check out okay, I checked out the
Yeah.
Mandalorian, and then he comes back for like season two and three, and it's like, yeah, it's not that good. And it's like, well, I just spent all this time watching season one and two, and it's not, so I don't like to get too much into these like shows sometimes. It's like I'll wait. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean these are a lot of usual suspects here. I did a quick check on the pit. I was really got into the pit. I think that is the freshman, surprise. I think it could be like the if anything is going to challenge Severance. I think there's a lot of online love for the pit.
Wow.
I think Severance should win. Don't get me wrong. I think the pit will have other chances, and I think it'll keep getting better as season two and three and stuff like that. But I think like just like the love of the actors and the writing and like just the show. It's like this show that really kind of has picked up steam over the last few months. But again, I think it's Severance here. But Kyle, what do you think about these eight nominees?
Similar to John. I mean, I think The Last of Us was down compared to the
Yeah.
last one. Slow Horses, I do think it's a very good show, but I don't think it's like doing anything revolutionary. I think it's like probably in cruise control where it's like very steady, consistent, but not worth a win at this point in its career. The White Lotus I thought was okay this year. I didn't think it was the best. And I just think this is Severance to
Yeah.
lose here. I do need to check out the pit. I've heard great things. John mentioned somebody in the comments was talking about the pit and how it's very realistic.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I'm interested to check it out. Just never got around to it. Does it feel like ER?
I mean, I'm not well versed in ER, but it is Noah Wiley from ER, and
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's created from by the same team of ER. I think initially it was supposed to be an ER like reboot, but
Mm-hmm.
legal rights got in the way, became this own thing, and now there's some. I think there's still some lawsuits going on where ER is like, "Hey, that's our show," and so I think
Yeah.
there is some kind of enough comparisons that people want to do a lawsuit for it, but.
Mm.
Um, yeah. I know you brought up the diplomat before the show started. I'm looking at like the noms here for each of these 8 shows, and it's actually only 2 nominations: drama series and lead actress for Kerry Russell. So I think that's like one of those weird ones where it's just like, man, there must be a lot of love for this show if it's just Kerry Russell in series
Mm-hmm.
versus sometimes it's like The Last of Us I'm sure got a lot of makeup and special effects and production design and obviously Pedro and Bella, but like you know it's like when you have like just those two, where like Paradise has 4, Slow Horses 5 total, versus these other ones that have 27 or 23 for the White Lotus and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, speaking of, I mentioned Pedro, but I want to talk a little bit about like the lead acting categories. Lead actors, a really strong category, I think, with 5 big names. I guess we're going to talk a little spoilers for The Last of Us here. Yeah, Pedro went lead. I think
Mm.
he was able, if he wanted to go supporting.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't be able to go guest though, even with the amount, because I think he appeared in another episode, but like there's a rule more recently where I believe if you are nominated for like a lead or supporting, you know, um, role, if it's that same character, or actually take that back. If you've been nominated, yes, it's a very convoluted rule. I believe it's called the Claire Foy, pretty much Emmy rule with The Crown, where she, of course, won for lead actress, and then a couple years later was a 10-second guest, in one of the episodes, got nominated and won for that. And they're like,
Oh boy.
okay, I
Yeah,
don't know
you're
about
playing the
that.
same character.
Yeah, so since Pedro has been nominated for lead before, he couldn't enter as guest for this character this time
Mm.
around. So it was either lead or supporting, and I think maybe probably an agent thing where it's like, nope, I'm lead. I'm still lead. I was in half the show, but I'm the lead, kind of thing.
I mean, he had like a couple of episodes where I guess his work would, like, if you're just
Yeah.
watching the one episode, like, then it
Yeah.
would maybe make sense because he is top billing or whatever
hmm
of the
It's a
show.
little bit of the Brian Cox thing where it was like he did 3
Yeah.
episodes or whatever, and then it's like,
And there's
okay,
probably two majorly
yeah,
solid episodes that were good for him. And then,
yeah.
you know,
But yeah, I
it
mean,
is what it is.
yeah, you got Pedro in there. Obviously, Sterling K. Brown, an Emmy favorite from This Is Us and American Crime Story. Gary Oldman, Oscar winner.
Mm,
Adam Scott here with Severance, but also Noah Wiley. I think his first nomination since those ER days. So
hmm
a great group there. And yeah, if you look at Best Actress Drama, Kathy Bates, I believe, is the oldest nominee in the Best Actress category. Um, yeah, Bella Ramsey, Britt Lauer, that's her first nomination. So it's
hmm
great, for season 2 of Severance, but she's been doing a lot of great work. I remember being a fan back in Man Seeking Woman, that FX
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
So yeah, any other thoughts there, Kyle, on the lead categories?
No, the male side is very, very, very strong. Yeah, the female categories for the leads are always, I feel like, so sometimes so difficult to know which
Yeah.
route they're gonna go. But I'm glad Britt Lauer got nominated, and I actually do. I haven't seen the show that Sharon Horgan's in, but she
Mm,
is great in Catastrophe.
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought you would like that nomination.
yeah.
All right, I want to talk a little bit some snubs and surprises. I think they're so busy nominating the White Lotus in supporting categories that the Pit didn't get much love. I think that could have been really where it would have gotten more nominations, but because the White Lotus is so strong, the Pit wasn't going to get those supporting nominations. I
Mhm.
know there's a lot of people that love uh, Taylor Dearden, who plays Dr. King on the Pit. You can go through a whole list of them. But John, I believe we have the picks for supporting.
Yes.
If we want to look at these, because I want to get your thoughts if these are the ones from the White Lotus that should have won. We got Parker Posey, Natasha Rothwell, Amy Lou Wood, and Carrie Coon for on the women's side, with Walton Goggins, Jason Isaacs, and Sam Rockwell on the men's side. Are those
That's
the White Lotus season three picks, John?
that's like this is so tough because like who's lead in White Lotus?
Or no, this is supporting. They're all
I
yeah,
know, I know. I'm saying like
but
who's lead in
everyone's
White Lotus?
supporting. Like
So
they
everyone's
all go,
supporting
yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
I feel like the two sporting categories are just so not flooded because they're all very good actors,
It's
but
the Modern Family thing. Like they're like, none
yeah,
of us are gonna go lead. We're all gonna say we're supporting. And
they're
so,
all cannibalizing each other almost. You know, like
yeah,
that's tough. Um, you know what? I haven't seen The Pit or
yeah,
Paradise, but everyone else did a fantastic job. I would not
yeah,
want to be voting on this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. There, yeah.
how do you choose? Like,
I,
Something that I'll say, like the female side, I kind of get. Maybe the one that I'm hesitant for is Parker Posey, but I feel
yeah.
like she just blew up
Oh, of
pop
course,
culturally.
Piper.
yeah,
No, I
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
Kyle.
So I'm not. Listen,
Yeah,
I think she's good in the show, but I
yeah,
think it's very limited her role in the show, which is the I love Sam Rockwell. Very strange to see him
yeah.
nominated here.
I think
And
he had
also,
just a little bit too much for guest. I think it was that
yeah,
percentage rule. He was in
like
one too
Guest.
many episodes supporting. It's
Yeah,
that,
like
yeah,
Guest, I could see maybe. And another one, and I love him as an actor, Jason Isaacs, but for a large portion of this show, he's in a stupor and he's like clogging around. I mean, there's not
but
much
he's
nuance to
acting
what
in a
he.
stupor.
yeah. He's not
I
really
mean,
in that
They
feeling
didn't
that way.
really drug him
I
up.
mean,
Like,
I get it,
Yeah.
but I get it, but like.
yeah, I get you. There's
Those
Oh
are
yeah,
not a ton of
I
some of the
hear
depth to
ones that I
that.
could have been like, eh.
there was some talk that there's you look up those snub articles, people are like, Patrick Schwarzenegger,
Mhm.
like
Hmm.
that breakthrough role for him.
Because I
Uh,
think his character and he had more to do
yeah,
on the show, and like his character is actually going through a lot and changing over a short period of time. So,
yeah, yeah. I guess I'll take someone out, and you guys might throw your hands up in anger, but I'd say like take out like Patricia Arquette for season two of
yeah,
Severance. I
Hmm,
thought, I mean, she was barely in season two,
hmm,
and then when
that's
she
fair.
was,
yeah,
like, for instance, throw in I'm gonna mispronounce unfortunately, but like probably Daishin Lockman, who
oh yeah,
plays Miss Casey. Put her in over Patricia
yeah,
Arquette for season
yeah.
two. She had a
I
much
agree.
better standalone episode than she did this season.
Hmm.
But I gotta, applaud Terrell Tillman
Yep.
for Mr.
Hmm.
Milkshake, Milkshake there, of course. That's it was should have got it for season one, but I'm glad he's here for season two, getting that Emmy nomination. That might, it's always tough when you have multiple people from one show in a category. You could get some vote splits, but I really think he has a really good shot. Uh,
Yeah.
then again, it's like you got James Marsden. I mean, because it's like, yeah, three guys from Severance, three guys from White Lotus, and James Marsden. So it's like,
Yeah,
but no, I think Tillman really has a shot, but
I
I
do
agree.
too. I hope he
Yeah.
does because
yeah.
he's very good, and I think you're so right about the other Severance character there.
Yeah. All right. Some more other snubs I'll talk about. I think some old favorites got next to nothing or like a goose egg, for this. House of the Dragon was actually eligible for this, and they only got four below the line. And I know we were really
Mm,
mixed on season two, but that is like wild to think. Again, because if you think about it, they got four below the line. The Diplomat and Carrie Russell and series. That's it.
mm,
So it didn't even get a drama series nomination. There was four for The Boys, but again, nothing like no big nominations for them. I got Handmaid's Tale here, just one guest acting nom for Handmaid's Tale final season. Nothing for Elizabeth Moss. She usually is in that lead actress drama race. And then zero for Squid Game.
mm.
This would be for season two of Squid Game, but there was 14 nominations and I think like six wins for season one. And you're telling me like again, season two is definitely a step down from season one, but not even something for like production design, like,
Yeah.
it's just
Mm-hmm.
something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little surprised with that. But is there anything else, are you surprised by these snubs, John? Any other things that got snubbed?
Um, I'm not surprised about House of the Dragon. I mean, like you said, we discussed it. It didn't do anything for me. I was basically watching it because we were discussing it in the
Mm,
podcast. I don't think I'd watch it otherwise. Um, yeah, I think also Squid Games season 2 not getting anything was a little surprising, but yeah, it definitely was a little bit of a step down, and I think part of what made season 1 so unique was there was it was unique. There was nothing like that, and now this is a lot of people were saying it's a copy of season 1 almost, which I can kind of understand, but
But it
um,
also with the fact that they cut like mid-season, that's
yeah,
a kind of a slap in
yeah,
the face to the
yeah.
audience as well.
no,
It sucks with
I
that.
beyond
Yeah.
that, but yes, I agree with that. But yeah, I can't think of anything that's is a super snub. To be honest, after 4 or 5 months, some of the shows we watched this
Yeah.
last year could be 2 years ago for all I know. So it's a little tough to remember
I
unless
know
they
Better Call
really stand
Saul's
out.
off the air. Why didn't we like if these it's such a weak year in some of these drama categories, why don't we throw in Better Call Saul and just give it a win? Come on. Um, Kyle, any snubs?
I had written down the Squid Game
Right.
one, but I'm not surprised. The House of the Dragon one is a surprise because when Game of Thrones was on, it was like,
It's
well,
huge.
it's
Yeah.
stamped, it's right there. Doesn't matter what they do. Considering those last couple seasons were not the best.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
surprising to see
yeah.
that. But
I saw both. I mean, it's been a while, but House of Dragon and Paradise and some of these other ones. I would swap out Paradise with House of the Dragon.
mm,
Maybe in like I don't know, like Last of Us and House of the Dragon were very similar from with a lot of stuff. So like
mm,
I don't know. Here's one. Here's an HBO show that I think should have gotten some love and it got zero nominations again. Industry.
yeah,
Oh
dude,
yeah,
Come
that
on.
show is good.
yeah, that
Give me
was
some
good.
acting nominations. Give
Yeah.
me a writing. Give me
Hmm.
I don't know,
Like
an
support,
editing,
like
like something.
Yeah.
that's a big ensemble show.
Yeah.
They could have
A
put
lot of
some
good guest
supporting
stars.
actors in
A
there.
Game of
Yeah.
Thrones guest star. Like, come on.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
I
All right.
completely forgot about that.
Yeah. I think the Emmy voters did too. Let's move to limited or anthology series. The Penguin led here and is joined by Adolescents, Black Mirror, Dying for Sex, and Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. All right, here's our five. What's our thoughts on this, Kyle?
Um, I'm still trudging my way through Black Mirror. I got through like 4 out of the 6 or 7 of the episodes. I think it's fine. It's adequate. Adolescence was like a revelation in the zeitgeist this past year, I should say. Is very good. I liked it a lot. I love the Penguin. Haven't seen the other two. I'll share a snub or a surprise maybe that didn't get in, but you know, between the Penguin and Adolescence, I think it's going to be a battle probably between those two, if I had to
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, and I think despite Penguin like leading, I still think Netflix will go kind of like for three here. And they had Beef, they had Baby Reindeer. I think it's gonna be Adolescence. I think the
Mm,
Penguin is helped a lot with all, obviously the makeup and like the
mm-hmm,
production design and all that stuff going on. But I think a lot of people really went into Adolescence and yeah, as
mm,
you just said, a revelation. I think they will reward, the Penguin, Colin Farrell in like the acting category. But I really think like I think if it's between those two shows, I'm gonna put money today on Adolescence.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Black Mirror on this list, I believe it had the most nominations it ever had for a season, with 10. Again, I don't know if it's just the type of year or just a growing fan base for it.
Oh, it was a
Um,
better. I think it was a better season than some of the ones we had in the past.
yes, I,
So
I I agree with that. Like
I
at
think
least
it's
the
on the
last two
upswing.
seasons, I think it's on the upswing from what we've had in the past. I really think I don't have too much to say about these categories, but like looking at like the nominations again, it's like you really see the celeb name here a
Mm,
lot, where it's like, you go through the list, like, oh, Kate Blanchett for Disclaimer. It's like, I've heard really like poor reviews for that, and I feel like nobody saw that, but okay. Kate Blanchett. I mean, Michelle Williams, again, didn't know much about Dying for Sex, but it's like, 9 nominations. It's like, okay, Jake Gyllenhaal, presumed innocent, Javier Bardem for Monsters, and it's like I think like everyone knew that Nam was coming. I didn't even watch that, but it's like when he signed on, he's like, oh, he's gonna be playing
Mm,
this character in Monsters. It's like, oh, boom, nomination. He's gonna
Mm.
get it, and it's just like because it's Javier Bardem. Um, so I really think you see that a lot here, and sometimes it keeps it interesting, but other times it just seems very chalk, and you don't really get those like performances. You get like, oh, I'm a movie star slumming it in TV here, and like reward me kind of thing.
yeah.
But
Mm.
any other snubs or surprises for you, Kyle?
The only other one I was going to mention, I don't even have the name of the show here, but maybe you know it, is the one with Robert De Niro and
Oh,
Jesse
Zero Day.
Plemons. Yeah, Zero Day. I
Uh,
liked it. I thought maybe it would get some production stuff, but I thought it was a solid show, and it kept me engaged. So that would have
Uh,
been one that maybe I would have put in there somewhere, I
I
think.
I believe I'm gonna do a double check on this. It got some cinematography, and then it got a sound mix. I'm like looking on this giant sheet
Mm,
here, and I actually got a directing
okay.
nomination. But
Yeah.
hmm.
outside of that, I mean, yeah, just below the line stuff outside of that directing nomination.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of star power, and just it didn't work. Um. I'm good to move on to comedy. I got some
Okay.
thoughts for comedy. Comedy series, the studio led here with 23 nominations, and it's joined by Abbott Elementary, the always hilarious The Bear, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building, Shrinking, and What We Do in the Shadows. All right, John, any thoughts on these laugh riots?
See, I'm gonna talk down on
Well,
hacks and only members because I didn't enjoy their pilots, but I know you guys tell me every time it got so much better for both of them. I
I
just I
I didn't
don't.
watch either. Like
Oh,
I think
I thought you
I think I
did.
watched season one of Only Murders, and yeah,
Okay,
I think it got better from the pilot. But like I never stuck with it, and I think Kyle,
okay.
did you watch Hacks?
I reached season two and I couldn't get past it.
Yeah, so
I have to go back. I always say, listen, I always say I'm gonna go back and watch it. Like I heard it was good, and then literally by the time I'm thinking that, the next season
yeah.
had come out. So I'm like, oh
Mhm.
man, I'm so far behind. So
Yeah, so I just don't get why they're here still. I mean, again, if people are saying they're good, I guess, but like if the three
for
of us were just like, maybe later, like,
I feel like Hacks is a darling for
Yeah, it's
it's
the
been
that
in the
nominated
media
every
it's got
year.
industry.
that
It's won
Hollywood
in acting and everything.
Hollywood
Yeah. Yeah.
favoritism there, but it has a new Hollywood critique in here with the studio, and you got the studio here tied the record for most nominations in a single year for a comedy. It actually ties the Bears 2024 haul, but that means it's technically the most for a freshman comedy series ever
Mm,
because The Bear
yeah.
was for season two. So this is
Mm.
for season one of a comedy. It has the most nominations. I mean, I think right now that's the favorite because if you look at some of these other ones have been nominated in the past, hasn't really connected. I don't think, Shadows, that's just like a nice nomination for it. I don't think it's gonna, you know, beat these other ones here. Maybe Hacks, but like, I feel like they awarded it last year and it didn't all of a sudden have this giant swell of nominations. It has 14. Like, it's like
Mm.
it's half of not even half. I guess it's like 10 less than the studio. So I don't know. I think the Bear is time has come and gone. You might
Why
still
is it
see
here
some
still?
acting ones. I think you'll still see those maybe. But like, yeah, I don't think it should be here, but
No, it should not be here. But again, in my opinion, that wasn't a great season. Like
no.
beautiful cinematography. Like
Yeah.
it looked great. It's just what happened. Nothing happened. We had 8, 10 episodes of
Yeah.
nothing. Like,
It could have been an email.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like why is that here in the top of comedy? Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what I think could be uh surprising is shrinking. I
Mm,
do it feels very almost like it's I think it has the same team as Ted Lasso or
yeah.
some of the similar players, and it definitely has that vibe, and it is a feel good show, and I do think I think it's one of those shows where like people don't really talk about it out in amongst each other, but I think it's something that they could watch and then like it makes them feel good and then they move on and it's not really in
Yeah.
the zeitgeist, but it does have a following, I think. So I think there's something to that show as well. I think it was okay.
Yeah.
I still like the first season the best, but
Yeah. The thing I
um,
worry about with shrinking, I feel like at least for Apple, like they have to kind of pick a horse to bet
yeah,
on, and I think they're going to put all their money on the studio.
for
And same with
sure.
like, if you look at the drama category, like they're going to put all their money on Severance, and
Hmm.
their horse won't be slow horses. So
Hmm.
yeah,
And this is the last nomination for What We Do in the
yeah,
Shadows, right?
yeah. Last
Yep.
one. Um,
Jackie Daytona gone.
Yeah. Oh man. It's such a mixed show. I feel like it definitely peaked in like I'm just making up numbers here, like seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And I feel like by the end it was a little all right, like a couple chuckles, but
Yeah.
nothing that it was.
It
But
was it was it was solid though.
yeah. But yeah, if we look at the studio, I mean, it really took over categories. I mean, it took over the guest categories for
Hmm.
sure. 5 out of the 6 for guest actor. If you look at it's like literally like I think like 3 people are playing themselves. Is that correct, John? You got 5 for the studio and just 1 soul for John Bernthal there for the bear.
Hmm.
Um, I hinted John as to throw to
Wha-
the image.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Um,
Oh, the guest actor image?
yes, 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 yes.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm distracted.
It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, actually, I think maybe 4 are playing themselves with Dave Franco,
Hmm.
Ron Howard, Anthony Mackie, and Martin Scorsese. Like, what a weird group. And again, it's really tough because it's like they were all very hilarious in their performances, but it's like, did any of them, split the vote? And is it John Bernthal from The Bear, who was great in his episode, the napkins episode that season, but again, it's not comedic. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Mm.
ugh, it's a tough one, but um. Yeah, if I mean, I'm talking about like napkins. That's so Liza Colin-Zayas, who's was nominated again for supporting actress. She won last year, but like technically, this is like her second nom for the episode she won for last year. Like I think there's so much love for napkins. Like yes, she should have been nominated this year for napkins, but season 2 when she won, she had nothing, but people were voting on
Yeah.
napkins from season 3. Just like Ebony Backrack, everyone was voting for, was it
Mm.
Forks?
Forks, yeah.
But like season 1, he didn't have, like it's just
Yeah.
everything is delayed so
Yeah.
much and it's just so confusing and oh man. And like meanwhile, like season 4, we'll get to it. She had nothing to do and like man, it's just such a mess and I don't know. I think this whole season 3 is definitely going to hurt season 2. Like, or actually, well, season 4, it's all confusing. But how
Yeah.
season 3 last year really hurt season 2 with the voting, because season 2 was a really
Hmm.
good season, but season 3 kind of during voting put a sour taste in people's mouth. So that ruined that. And I don't think season 4 was good enough to help season
No.
3.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like I think it's not going to be a good year, I feel like, for the Bear. And I think also like just that backlash of like the comedy classification is even stronger now. So I don't know. It's like for me, it's just like, we talk about like Jeremy Allen White for um lead actor. Again, great actor, but like put in my man Nathan Fielder.
Yeah.
Like much funnier than Jeremy Allen White in The Bear. And at least and Nathan Fielder did get some love. He the rehearsal, it got 4 nominations. It got 2 for picture editing, and then a nomination in writing and a nomination in directing. So that's great. Like I'm very happy for that because the Emmys have been really staying clear of Nathan for You and The Curse and the season 1 of the rehearsal. But it's like, how does it not get series? Like
Yeah.
if
Mhm.
nobody wants this, gets 3 nominations, 2 lead, 1 series. Like this show got 4 nominations and is nominated in writing and directing and editing. So it's like it's a better written and directed show, but it's not good enough for series. It's
But
very
it's not a
like
better show.
yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's much funnier than the bear. So I don't know. Like what are we doing? But good for Nathan. Um
The rehearsal is a snub though that it didn't
yeah.
make it. That
Yeah,
sucks.
it should be in there. It should
Yeah.
be in there. I mean, yeah, it's like you look at some of the other nominations and it's like it got more nominations and yeah, like as I said, like Nobody Wants It, it's pretty much almost exactly the same as something like Abbott Elementary or What We Do in the Shadows. Like, sure, it didn't get the acting nominations that some of those shows type do, but it still got writing and directing.
Hmm.
If I look at some snubs, I mean, I think there was a lot of star-studded shows that didn't connect. You got Tina Fey's very buzzy like four-season series on Netflix,
Hmm.
just one nomination total, and that was for Coleman Domingo. Everyone loves Coleman. Um, that's all I gotta say. I'm never gonna
Yeah.
speak ill will of Coleman. Um, and then if you look at, like the Poker Face, always guest starred. Just again, one guest actress, one for stunt coordination, but nothing for Natasha Lyonne or the series or writing or anything like that. So. Any other snubs for you in
I
comedy?
think mine was just the rehearsal. That was a
Yeah.
big, big snub for
Yeah.
me. I just the show that everyone
Yeah.
is talking
Yeah.
about, and when they talk about it, they're like, I've never seen anything
Yeah.
like this before, and it's so unique, and he's doing something different, and it's funny. It's a crime that it wasn't
Yeah.
nominated.
I agree. Before we wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about the talk series and scripted variety series categories because, like, I know in the last few years they split these. These used to kind of all be together for the most part, except like, well, I take that back. John Oliver was with The Daily Show and Jimmy Kimmel and all those talk shows, and then
Hmm.
Saturday Night Live was its own scripted like variety series category with like Key and Peele or something like that.
Hmm.
But this year we have just three in talk series: The Daily Show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and then just two in scripted variety series: Last Week Tonight with John Oliver and Saturday Night Live. Clearly, the amount of nominees are always based on how many submissions there are, so that's why it's like for drama series you have like eight, but maybe for like limited series you have five or something like that.
Hmm.
Clearly, there isn't as many talk series or scripted variety series, and that's why we got three and two. But it's like if there's not enough nominees, combine them. Like
Yeah.
make this a solid five category. Like it's very annoying. And then I look at it, it's like, what's the difference really between Daily Show and Last Week Tonight? Yes, I get
Hmm.
it. Daily versus weekly, but it's the same show.
Yeah.
There's like a long piece about like that week's headlines or an in-depth thing about whatever prison reform. And then there's sometimes like either an interview at the end or a little snippet of something else. Like they're all
Hmm.
the same. And I don't
Hmm.
know. I'm just curious actually, because usually Oliver always wins anyways, but like the Oliver versus SNL this year, because it's like SNL 50 was huge. I mean, it was
Yeah.
talked about, it was promoted like crazy. Do they award it for season 50? But then again, there's so much other places where you can award SNL because they actually submitted the 50th special as its own thing. They
Yeah.
had that concert special. They had those docs on Peacock. So they have other spots to to award it. So I wonder, but it is another interesting stat, I'll say. Like, normally, you get the SNL host taking up guest comedy slots. So, like, guest actor in a comedy or guest actress in a comedy would normally be like two or three of the hosts that season.
Hmm.
That didn't happen this year. That was the one of the first years that hasn't happened, which I find kind of surprising, especially for, again, SNL 50 being such a big year. But
Hmm.
um, this actually is a great lead-in to a clear actual in and out point. We have three nominations here for Outstanding Talk Series. Next year, we'll be down to two, one, maybe even zero. We'll see. Because for sure, the nominee of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert will not. Well, I guess technically could still be there. I mean,
Yeah.
there's still another year,
Yeah.
but still, go with me on this transition, okay? It was announced on Thursday that not only will The Late Show with Stephen Colbert be ending in May of 2026, but Late Show in general on CBS will be too. So supposedly in the statement from CBS, it is purely a financial decision against a challenging backdrop in late night. It is not related in any way to the show's performance, content, or other matters happening at Paramount, end quote.
Okay.
Interesting to end that way. I can understand the financial aspect. 100%, I can understand it. Because at this point, these late night shows are just very expensive YouTube clip generators.
Yeah.
That's what they are. No one's watching it on linear TV. I get that. When Corden stepped down a few years ago, CBS decided, all right, we're done with the Late Late Show. We're not doing that anymore. No more hosts in that spot. But Colbert is actually the clear number one in the ratings.
Yeah.
He's grown in the last year. I believe he's like almost like double of what Fallon gets. He's number one in the 11:35 slot. And well, before I go into a dive into something else, your initial thoughts, Kyle, because I got a lot to say about this, obviously. Your
I
initial thoughts
mean,
about the
if we're
news that
just,
Late Show is
yeah, if
ending.
we're just looking at the TV perspective, yeah, the landscape is changing. I mean, every podcast is now late night TV essentially with this interview format. So it's not surprising that from a TV perspective, this trend of late night TV is going downward, you know? So, so I can't say I'm surprised by that, but in my own mind, it's like this show, in consideration of all the TV that's being made all the time, is probably very minuscule. I
Yeah,
mean, the bulk of the cost is probably Stephen Colbert's salary
yeah,
and stuff like that. So, to me, it's a little strange if you've got the number one late night show that you would just keep it running
yeah,
since it's doing what you're asking it to do in that time slot. I don't
yeah.
I don't know.
I was listening to a pod today about the town, and I believe they say something about like how it's like it's $100 million for the year for Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And yeah, that sounds like a lot, but then you remember they do 40 weeks, 4 or 5 episodes a week. That's a lot of episodes. And
Yeah.
you look at some other shows that are like 10 million an episode. Like,
Yeah.
so I get that. And yes, like no one's really watching on linear, but like they're watching in other spots. It's still working in other on YouTube on this stuff. And I
Mm-hmm.
understand the economics. I get that. But it's just the timing of this announcement because it did come quite quickly after, for those who've been following, after CBS's parent company, Paramount Global, is preparing to close a merger with Skydance. And, to go back even further on that, they just recently settled a lawsuit with Donald Trump, one of the many, which many legal experts thought had no merit, but was seen
Mm-hmm.
as a way to help this merger of Paramount Global and Skydance go through. And just coincidentally, 3 days after Colbert comments on this on his show, then the plug is pulled. That's where it's like, and again, in that statement where it's like, this is purely a financial thing. It has nothing to do with the show's performance, content, or other matters happening at Paramount. It's like, hmm, like
Mm-hmm.
really? And then that
Yeah.
next day on Friday, you got Trump celebrating Colbert's cancellation, threatening Kimmel that he's going to be next. This is sending shockwaves through Hollywood because it's like, I mean, obviously there's this whole fear and intimidation going on right now about silencing critics in the media, but then it's also like it's it just
It's
opens up
like
a whole can of worms of
yeah, it's
like
like
what other shows are next. Like what is this the end of late night? Is this the end of like it's just
Yeah.
where does it drop? Where does it end?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy. It is weird. This is a weird for a president to go after
Yeah.
late night TV programming. But if we're looking at it, it looks like a bribe to
Yeah.
let this merger happen. And it's like you guys are all corrupt, and
Yeah.
this is a president. But I'm saying the people at the top are maneuvering things
Yeah.
to better themselves
Yeah.
and better their situation. And it's like you're screwing people. There's a lot of people that worked at that show
Yeah.
that are going to be out of a
Yeah.
job because of this whole situation. And as you can see, these TV jobs are not,
No.
you know, growing from trees. The only thing that I mean, would be a real kick in the junk would be they did this as a way to bribe to let the merger go through, and then the merger gets blocked anyways.
Yeah.
And then if I was Stephen Colbert, I would say, all right, I'm going to take my staff just like Conan did and do my
Mm.
own thing.
He
Why not?
100% when May 2026 comes around and he's leaving CBS, he is going somewhere else, and I would love if he does a 11:30 slot somewhere else and just takes the world by storm.
You
And
know
I,
what?
I
I'm gonna say Conan made a great transition to podcasts.
yeah,
Why doesn't he
Hmm.
open his own studio? The clips end up on
yeah,
YouTube anyway. Take that angle, the high, the high visibility angle, and pivot and do your own thing. And
yeah.
that way you're immune to networks.
I also
Hmm.
think it's an odd choice to I'm sure yeah I'm sure they would have to pay him out kind of thing because his contract probably was through May of 2026, but like you're now letting this man be on the air now for the next nine,
Hmm.
10 months.
Mm,
I'm getting my popcorn. I can't wait to see what
Yeah.
he says now because it's like, what are you gonna do? Fire me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a show
Same
past May.
same
Yeah.
with
Like
Conan, where he just started
exactly.
getting super expensive stuff on the show
Yeah,
every
that
day.
was great. That
Like
was always great.
yeah.
But yeah, but like before Kimmel, like, I'm worried actually for two other folks first, Seth Meyers and Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
Seth, because if we're talking about the end of late night, he's in that 12:30 spot where like no one's
Mhm.
watching and he's critical of Trump. But like the real one to, think about again with this whole Paramount and Skydance merger and everything going on with that is Jon Stewart with The Daily Show because that is also a Paramount production
What's
and
so
obviously
weird?
critical of Trump.
Weren't they begging him to come back like 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got it. We got a new boss coming in. And also
I know. It's just
6 months ago, well, I guess 9 months ago,
yeah, yeah.
we had a different person in charge. So yeah, it's times are changing. It's scary, sad. It's there's a lot of emotions with this one, but if anything, he's going to land on his feet. I just, again, worry about like the staff because, yeah, Colbert will work again. He will be fine. But
Mm.
it's like it's like that staff who can't wait until the next show is,
Yeah, they
being
can't not
produced.
live
Like,
for a
Yeah.
year.
yeah. So,
Yeah. I'm
um,
I'm just hoping that in the long run this will work out better for everyone involved and that they can get creative in different ways and
yeah,
make something that I'm sure there's constraints at CBS anyways, so
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, normally we'd be wrapping up a podcast, but we combined two together because we have so much to talk about. Hey, we're going to be off for a little bit here. You guys be excited that you're getting an extended episode here. All right, we have two shows to talk about, neither of which were technically eligible for this year's Emmy cycle. They will be for next year. Let's talk about them. Let's go back.
we're back,
I'm back,
baby.
baby!
Gotta get back in time.
All right, we're gonna start off with The Bear, season four. It dropped all of it on June 25th. We're picking up right from season three, and the review is in. And like season three, the restaurant mixed. While praising the food in the sandwich window, the Chicago Tribune criticized the chaotic atmosphere and inconsistent menu of The Bear. So Cicero and the computer gave the crew 2 months to turn it around, or they will be forced to shut down. Now, is the review from the Chicago Tribune supposed to be meta? Because I too feel like the last two seasons have been chaotic and inconsistent. But season four, I think, definitely was a step up from season three, which I think we joked about earlier could have been an email. But John, your thoughts overall on season four?
Um, I will agree it was a step up from season three. However, again, I'm gonna ask the same question: what happened this season? And I'm gonna say right now, spoilers for season four. Uh, there was a wedding. The timer ticked down, and they found out that what's his name might be leaving. And what else happened? What else happened? Again, beautiful show. It's filmed
Yeah.
spectacularly. Even the tension and them doing nothing sometimes, just trying to make service and all that, great. But there's no meat on the bone, like
No,
I don't know.
I'm with you. For a show that's motto is every second counts. Does it? Because some of these episodes end, and I'm like, oh, that's it? Like, what are we doing here? I guess I'll watch another one, and then it's like, okay, the season's over. That's it? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's like, you know, it was. I feel like 2 seasons of straight will Sid sign that contract. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that was a season three
100%.
cliffhanger. That's what stopped at season three. And by episode seven of this season, it was like, will she sign it? I still don't know. It's just like, come on, like. You know,
Well,
and like Tina's, I mentioned it when we are talking about the Emmys. Like, what was Tina's storyline this season? She won an Emmy, and it looks like this season maybe she just shot all of her scenes in a day, trying to make pasta in under 3.5 minutes.
yep.
It's like, also, who cares? If it's 3:31, it's not going to end like the Always Sunny this week had a great, thing, a takedown a little bit of the bear where it's just like, yes, chef, yes, chef. They were like, we got to keep moving. The stakes are so high. And everyone's like, why? Why is it that high? It's just food. Like, oh, the pasta, 3:32. Oh, that Michelin star's gone now. It has to be 3:29. It's like, okay,
It's
like,
like the rest of the food other people are ordering is going to take more time.
yeah,
Well, you can pace it out to be the same. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But
Yeah. Uh, I mean, I agree. I felt like a lot of this season watching it was like homework, and I hate that feeling.
Mm.
It felt disjointed, felt like we were spinning our wheels the first half of the season. I mean, and we'll get to this when we talk about Squid Game, but it was two shows where we're just watching buttons pressed or papers slipping back. I was like 3 episodes of just red, green, red, green. And I'm like, okay, that would have been cool back in season one, again, when we're used or getting
yeah.
used to this
Yeah.
craziness. And but we already know the world, we already know the kitchen, we know the characters. Now you gotta give us something, and we've spent 2 seasons wondering if she's gonna sign a contract. We gotta have these characters doing something. I love the actors.
Yeah.
I love the characters. I love the setting. We cannot just keep sitting
Mm.
here going through the same stuff, contemplating what their emotions are for 2 seasons. Something
You don't
needs
find
to
that
happen.
hilarious, Kyle?
Well, it can be hilarious, it cannot be, it can be dramatic, it can be
Yeah.
whatever, but I gotta have these
Yeah, no.
characters
Yeah.
doing something.
Yeah.
Because at times it becomes too saccharine sweet, like there this on again, off again situation with all of them. It's just like get to some kind of culmination where these characters are
Yeah.
growing or regressing or doing changing in some way.
I
I
feel like this
mean,
show became so big that like whatever plans they had to maybe wrap this up, it's like, okay, now we got to stretch this thing out because this could be like a 5, 6, 7, 8 season
Mm.
yeah.
show. And it's like, because I think initially I heard like this third season that we got last year was supposed to be maybe possibly it, or like this third and fourth season was one season, and we could definitely feel that. So it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
they stretched it out, and every episode feels the same. Obviously, outside of the one or two special episodes you get in a season, whether it's fishes or forks or something, that stand out. But like, I was looking at some of these episode titles, and trying to come like replicants, doors. I have no idea what the hell happened in any of those episodes. Ask me
Mhm.
what happened in episode 2 or 3 of the season. I don't know, but I mean, I could tell you what happened in, some of the standout ones like Worms or the wedding episode. But
Mhm.
like other than that, it's just like, I mean, it's Groundhog Day. I mean, they kind of joke
Yeah.
about it. Like that's where it's so weird. Like the show comments on this,
On the
like,
thing that it's doing.
yes,
Yep.
like so
Yes.
it knows its mistake and it's like leaning into it because like yeah, there's all these Groundhog's Day movie quotes of almost like it's like a commentary on season 3 and the reviews and but like
But they didn't fix it.
yeah, they did.
It's
I
it's
don't know.
it's
I
not
mean,
funny if you don't correct the mistake while you're critiquing it. Like,
yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, I get the Groundhog Day scenario of what it would be like to work in a
Yeah,
kitchen, and I think that's what they were going for. But we're getting Groundhog Day
with the show.
situations with the characters and them making the same decisions. It's like we need them to do something. And what's also frustrating is there's so much meat on the bones of the main characters, then we're gonna sit and we're gonna go talk about the ancillary characters worrying about the beef stand.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't care. Let's go to this.
I'm
Fat
so confused with that. Also,
the
like
yeah.
because it's like the review of the Chicago Tribune here. I don't understand this restaurant at all. It's so high end, but the review also talks about the greasy beef sandwiches that they serve behind the back. And yeah, like we're focusing on that. Like I wouldn't mind that as its own little show, but like I'm
Mm.
watching this other show. Like pick a lane, like or combine these somehow. Like I don't. It's like two different things.
Yeah, and then they bring in people from the past
Yeah,
when we're hearing that they can't afford it, but now we're just going to shoehorn them in
yeah,
here because we want to get all the gang back together. Yeah, Fack and Sugar's like crew there in the
yeah,
background. They should be in coming, making little quips, going back. I don't need to figure out. He's in the fine. We're down to the last
yeah,
day of the whatever, the
yeah,
2 months, and he's worried about how he's walking still. I'm like, come on, dude.
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
are we
Well,
doing?
they're spending all their time at this wedding, which I will talk like so. Some of the two standout episodes I feel like this season were it was Worms, which was written by AO and
Mm,
Lionel Boyce, who plays Marcus on the show, and you also had Bears, which was the wedding episode. I think those are like the two like
Yeah.
episodes stand out this season, and you got a lot of guest stars with that wedding. Brie Larson showed up. You know, we had all these
mm.
people. But for me, I had like, while this was a nice episode, I had the biggest nitpick with this guest list because it makes no
Yeah,
sense.
it does
As
make
someone
no
who,
sense.
had a wedding and, invited people to the ex-husband and entire family, who's not really his family, are at this wedding. And the restaurant employees he works with, which neither his wife or husband have met.
Yeah,
Like, why are they like? Why is like Marcus and Ao or Sydney like? Oh, why are these people at this
yeah,
wedding when technically like uh Richie, all these cousins are not really his cousins anyways. It's like there's so many.
yeah.
There's like a 6 degrees of this, but they
Mm,
all have to be there because we got to do this giant reunion episode. Like, what excuse can we have to have Bob Odenkirk and John Mulaney and Sarah Paulson and all these people come back and be all together under a table? Like that's our reason,
yeah.
and it makes no sense.
But I mean, yeah, I totally agree
Yeah.
with you. There are moments in this show where the writing and the acting are so on. That moment with Jeremy Allen White and Bob Odenkirk
Yeah.
talking, great scene. Claire, when she's on the scene with Carm, they're great together. They bring a little juice. Ao, when she's on screen, is bringing juice, and then it just is like just sitting there spinning its wheels, and there's just nothing going on.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on! I wanted to have that same vibe, and I don't need the craziness of the kitchen. That's not what
Yeah.
people are gonna think in this review. It is not that, but you need to have these characters grow in some way.
Yeah.
And we've spent 2 seasons doing that, and very minimal has changed. And it's just so frustrating to see. And in the finale, you would think that it would be cathartic to have this one act play where
Yeah.
they're all getting their emotions out, but it felt like what have we been waiting for?
Yeah.
That should have been
What
episode 2. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
we
like
should have
let us
started
see
the
the
season with that, or
fallout of
yeah,
it.
something
Like,
like yeah. So the episode was called Goodbye, and it's like at first I saw, I'm like, oh, this must be like the final episode or something, and it's maybe not so much. It could be Jeremy Allen White's last episode. Maybe he'll show back up for like a guest spot here and there in season 5,
Mm,
but like no, it's like it sounds like he's handing the keys over to pretty much Sid and Richie and obviously his sister there, but like. I don't know. Yeah, it's structured like a play, and you got the core three of them really just like outside the restaurant, and like I'm into it. But as you guys were saying, it's like why like now, like in this spot here, like it should have been earlier because now it's like, oh, I'm gonna wait a whole year to maybe get that change in the resolution, and it's just like I just waited 2 years for that. I watched season 3 and 4 for that, and I still
yeah.
didn't get that. And are you promising this in season 5 when Jeremy Allen White might not be there for it? Oh my God, like it's just yeah,
Um What I will say is, I think now just going into character stuff,
yeah,
and you can debate me on this.
yeah,
I think Sid asking Richie to come on and be part of the other part of the bear is just asinine insanity, and I don't
yeah.
know why she would do that.
I don't, yeah. I think it was just a thing to be like.
Just to bring him along. I
Bring
mean,
him
I get
along. It's
it.
like from a show standpoint. It's like, oh, of
Yeah.
course, like these two. So like that'll be our conflict all of next season. It'll be
Yeah.
like one wants to run the kitchen this way, but the other one wants to run the front of house this way. And
Mm.
he's older and she's newer to this business. And like it's gonna be that. I don't know if I want to do a season of that. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I am willing to go
yeah,
somewhere. Let
Well,
me show
we
me the
haven't gone
way.
anywhere
Where
yet.
where
yeah,
where are we going? But I also think, I mean, just from this quote alone, tell me what you think. With this Ibrahim separate side beef
yeah,
situation, they brought in Rob Reiner, right?
yeah,
And you get the assumption he's there to help. But I think there's something shady about this
yeah.
character
I
because
agree.
he's talking to computer and computer is saying basically like, I handle all the money. This is where how things should go or whatever. And this is why I have this nickname. And he asked Rob Reiner, "Oh, what's your nickname?" And he goes, "I'm not going to tell you my nickname yet." And it sounds like
Hmm.
sounds like a guy who comes in,
Yeah,
takes over, takes control, and you don't end up with any of the money from your
Hmm.
idea is what
yeah.
it
Like
sounds
it was
like.
gonna be like squeezer or something like
Yeah,
I squeeze out the
you
juice of
know.
all the, I don't know, something. But no, yeah, I definitely had those vibes with him. Yeah, I just feel like they also spend so much time on like all the, yeah, as you were saying earlier, like the side characters, auxiliary characters and stuff, where like no one gets a full story. And again, it's like this stuff with like, Tina cooking the pasta, or like I feel like Marcus always is like, does he really have anything? He's like
I know.
there, but he's not really like what's his story if I boil it
Yeah.
down?
Hmm.
Like what's
Yep.
he doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, and there's a lot of that I think with every character. They need to just like hone in, pick the three people you're gonna focus on and just focus,
Yeah.
you know. But again,
And let the
chaos
other
menu.
Yeah, let the other ones come in with quips, with the funny things, with like the silly, but don't make it a storyline. Give yeah, it's just too many cooks in the
Too many
kitchen.
cooks. Too many cooks. All right. Well, that's the bear. We got to move on to one more show here.
Yeah.
One last thing. We're gonna be cooking up a plate of Squid Game season 3, June 27th. It dropped all on Netflix. That is it. This is the finale. So of course we're going to be spoiling the end of Squid Game. Season 3 picks off immediately after the attempted and failed overthrow from 456 as we experience the final games of the annual Squid Game tournament. But really, it's just season 2, part 2, if we're going to boil it down. Just like how Bear kind of did a 3 and a 4. This is pretty much
Hmm.
season 2, part 2, if we're going to really boil it down. I knew nothing was gonna hit like season 1, and I feel like this season, yes, I'm again putting 2 and 3 together. Had some good moments, but ultimately, to me, it was definitely a step down. Less surprises. It's kind of like, it's like that sequel where we need to try and up the ante, and like it just doesn't. Oh, that it was better the first time, kind of
Hmm.
thing. But what do you guys think, John? What did you think of Squid Game 3?
Um, I mean, it was nice seeing new games and having like a little bit of a new twist like that, but beyond that, I feel like yeah, they kind of played it out exactly how you were thinking it was gonna. Like again, we're gonna get into spoilers of this more than we already have, but like he's probably not gonna win. Like he's probably gonna get to the end because he's the main character. But knowing all you know about him, he's obviously gonna try and figure out a way to either save as many people as possible or be the one that gets removed. So other like I don't know. It didn't it played out how I figured it would. They're to dive into the very end, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh, they're not gonna kill the baby. They
yeah,
can't kill a baby on the
yeah,
show. Like, all right, so the baby's gonna survive. Like, and at that point, like, as soon as they got to the second totem, I could tell, like, as people were going down, like, all right, of course they're gonna have to make a decision,
yeah.
and it's gonna be a tough one. So what, like, so I don't
Yeah,
know. It just
I,
didn't.
I I had the exact same thought. So it's like, yeah, it's like you get to the end there, and it's like when, the whatever lunchbox was like, not
Mhm.
going to be a player here, and then so it's like 333. Don't do what you're doing because I
Yeah.
can see what's going to happen. You're going to get to the last one. It's going to be 333, 456, and the baby.
Mhm.
Of course, you're not going to kill the baby, and 456 our main character, and they're not. And 333 was kind of like a still kind of evil and is a
Nobody
killer. So it's
character
kind
as
of
well.
like. All
Yeah.
right. I mean, you kind of see where it's going, and it kind of ruined that a little bit there. And I don't know. I'm still in the fact of like, I'm a reality competition obsessive, and I don't like when you like rule change any show. And I know this show is not like a real reality show because
Mhm.
the stakes are much different. But the production interference on these games, it's like, okay, you're gonna put a baby in, fine, but like the baby gets a vote. the baby's a
Yeah.
player, the baby gets a vote, and it's like all the times where it's like abstain, baby can't vote. It's like, well, then the baby's not a player. Like there's so much like,
Yeah. Yeah.
find a way to do it, but for the head guy to give 456 a knife to kill before game starts, it's like, if people are, betting on this, that's some legal issues there. Like this game show needs a
Oh
legal
yeah.
team. It goes back to quiz show. I saw that movie. You can't give the answers to someone, on a quiz show. But I don't know. Uh, Kyle, what did you think?
Uh, it was nice to get an ending to it. I'm really still stung by the mid-season
Yeah.
cut or
Yeah,
break or whatever they wanted to call it. Um, yeah, I still enjoyed some of the games. The hide and seek one was cool.
Mhm.
And they really strung that out. I think it went into two
yeah.
episodes, didn't it?
Yep. Yep.
I think that they like to do that. I feel like they always like to like start a game, then because I want to see how the game ends, and it's like always
Mhm.
like, oh, it's in the middle of the next episode, and you're like,
You
oh,
gotta
Yeah.
stop it at the highest point of drama, so
yeah,
you come back
yeah,
next week. Like,
Yeah, I would say the most compelling storylines for me this time around were um when it got to it, the baby, the mom with the baby and the
yes, yes,
grandmother having to
yes,
kill, spoiler alert, having to kill her own son. That was really compelling stuff to where at the end, I thought they did a weird thing with the father of the child because it seems odd to me that he would be helping the entire time. And then next thing you know, he was about to kill the baby so that he
yeah.
could move on. So it's like, was I supposed to understand were his motivations before not real, or did they mess
Yeah,
up the writing? Is that
I
I
couldn't tell
didn't
what the show was trying to make
infer?
for him. Like, or was like, they're trying to make it sympathetic at points, but then he's clearly doing bad things, and then yeah, he's gonna stab his own baby. It's just like, ah, it was. I think it was just a mess, and I think yeah, as you guys were saying, like the cut of this season and a half didn't help it, and I really feel like 456, spoiler, his death wasn't as impactful for me because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like in this second half of the season, he really kind of lost his voice or the POV of the show as like this main character was like gone. He really didn't have much in this second half. There was so much other stuff. We had so much of a like discussion of this group of men, which we really didn't see before. Like they were like pushing the rest of the games in the season forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the ones, I still hate, player 100 there. Like, and it's just like, oh, great. These are the men that are going to be leading the rest of the season here. And meanwhile, yeah, like 456 is chained to a bed, doesn't want to talk, or is just like quietly watching a baby. And it's like,
yeah.
man, it just didn't hit because I think, he was the heart and soul of season one for sure, but also of season two, part two, or part one, I mean, like,
I have a couple things.
yeah,
So what was frustrating about the main guy, the main leader dude there,
yeah,
was like that I felt like they tried to humanize him at the
yeah,
end by uh making him relate to 456 because it almost feels like he was 456 in a way and that
yeah.
he
He was one of the like original players, and it's like,
original,
oh,
yeah,
he was forced
yeah,
into this, and now, but still, it's like, are you? Because you're still running this thing, like,
Mhm.
yeah.
uh,
But yeah, so that's where it's weird. It's like we've seen this guy do horrible, horrible things, and it's like, oh, I'm just supposed to excuse this behavior because you went through a lot, and it's like you're continuing to do this, and even the cop, his
yeah,
brother asks him, "Why are you doing this?" And I think maybe because he's too far gone. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah,
Uh, two other points I want to bring up.
yeah,
The next one is the 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 kid that is always like shy and getting
yeah.
bullied and picked on. Okay, I mean, I have not done
Okay.
seriously hard drugs before, but um,
That
to
stuff was
be
instant.
to be an addict, to be having like
Yeah.
dependency issue problems after taking it twice, I don't understand that. That
But
does
also,
not make
like,
it.
I feel
He
like
was
they
like
would.
fiending after a day. I'm like, what is
I
this?
feel like they also like all of them throughout the entire, two seasons here would take it and then instantly have
Yeah.
like the superpowers of whatever they needed. And it's just like I don't think that's how it works. Like just because it touches your tongue doesn't mean like you instantly are what,
Yeah.
0 to 100.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
And the last thing, I figured we would touch on this at some point. The billionaires, the
Yeah,
Illuminati,
the
whatever
the
they are,
VIPs,
it
yeah.
was
Uh,
it's terrible. It takes
Hey,
you out. The
at least it was
acting,
consistent with season one.
yeah,
yeah.
It
it
stayed
was.
consistent.
It was. It takes you out. The writing sounds bad. The acting seems bad. At times I thought it was dubbed
It
over. I thought
Oh,
it
was.
was
100%.
AI.
It was.
I thought it was AI though. I thought it was AI.
Well,
It was like very, very weird. At one point their mouths were like moving and it was
Mhm.
like, what is happening
Mhm.
here?
well, supposedly a VIP, one of the actors there, claims that he was dubbed over by another English voice speaker. So he's supposedly speaking in English, but then they dubbed him over again. And then I saw on Reddit that if because I watched it in Korean with the English subtitles, but if you click English dub, where then it makes the
Oh,
whole show in English,
the whole
the
thing's like that.
VIPs are changed again.
Oh, are they? I was
Oh
gonna
One's
my
even
say
British.
God.
Like,
I
so
saw
they
a
dub them
couple.
again, like for a third time.
I saw a couple scenes in English, and it sounded like everybody was the same thing, where it was just like over enunciated for every single
Yeah.
character. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, how do you get that far away from like who watched this and said, yeah, all right, that passes? Like, how? I didn't notice they. I mean, I didn't realize they had a different set of English speakers for. I wonder. See, I could almost forgive if you want to have the English be like super perfect for people who are watching in a different language to like kind of be able to
Yeah.
over enunciate and hear it. But yeah, if all the English one is like that too, like why?
I don't know.
Why?
Speaking of these, yeah, Illuminati or whatever they are, like one said, I picked up a quote where it was like one said that the voting, like the how they vote on the games, we keep going, don't drop out, XO kind of thing. This season was more exciting than the games. I'd be like, get the F out of here. Like we saw a montage of this voting stuff, and it was so slow for us. And you're telling me that that was more exciting than the games where people are literally like falling to their deaths from playing jump rope. Like, oh, and he hit X. Whoa. It's like, come on. Like, I understand. I love strategy. I'm a big, like, Survivor, Big Brother fan, but, like, this was not good strategy, or, like, it was so drawn out. But, man. All right, VIP. You're the one paying the big bucks. You get to decide. But,
One other thing I had before
yeah,
we start moving on here is
yeah,
maybe the thing I wanted most out of season one was more information on what is going on in the
yeah.
background, more about all these files they have, more about the people who are
Mhm.
organizing this. And I feel like we got like another morsel, but we didn't get any real info
Yeah.
on that. And
Mm.
Yeah.
you had 2 seasons to develop what's going on behind the scenes. You had all these people investigating what's going on behind the scenes, and you still show us nothing of what's going on. Like why?
Instead, you just do, like, literally Squid Game again.
Yeah, like you had so much of an opportunity
Yeah.
to develop maybe the weakest part of season one and didn't. Like I don't know. I was just like the
Yeah.
whole time I was like, tell me more, and it just
Well,
never happened.
maybe you'll get more
Oh no.
in another series. So the ending of Squid Game 3 here. We got the front man. He's got the baby, 222. I really thought the pink guard would get it, by the way. I really thought they were going to get like the pink guard who lost a daughter would get this baby. But anyways, we see him travel to the US and to give a gift to 456's daughter. But then we get the real reveal that there is a USA recruiter played by none other than Kate Blanchett, Emmy nominee for Disclaimer, um, setting up this possibly rumored America Squid Game version. Now, the creator of Squid Game insists this wasn't setting up, and that like he just thought this would be like an impactful ending that he wanted. But there's been rumors for a while. I think they were back in like October in Deadline of this David Fincher USA version coming of Squid Game. I don't know. I mean, I really hope if we do have to do this, that it does what a little bit what John was saying. Maybe pulls back the curtain a bit and we kind of see this whole world and this franchise and how this connects with all these other ones throughout the world instead of just like, all right, it's just a Squid Game just with Americans. Like, because
Yeah.
they kind of do that with, I mean, no one's actually dying, but there's a Squid Game challenge show on
Mhm.
Netflix with
Mhm.
456 competitors. And okay, like I just don't want the same show just in English. Like I don't need that because I saw the English on this show and it wasn't good. No, that's a different show. But oh my,
I don't know why saying Squid Game USA reminds me of. Do you remember the arcade game Cruisin' USA?
Yeah.
yeah,
That's it. I feel like that should be in the Squid Game USA. Cruisin' USA.
yeah. It does sound. It sounds like such like yeah. I mean like the Challenge USA. Like it sounds like an MTV reality show. It doesn't sound like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
And Seneca brought up a good point in chat
yeah.
saying like Americans are so familiar with I'm gonna butcher the name but the Dakji the
Mm,
with the squares where
Yeah.
they're throwing the
yeah.
squares to flip it
Yeah.
like you're expecting some guy in the street to like
Yeah.
know what to do or have any experience playing this like is there
Yeah.
not like an American equivalent that we could say like
I
Like dice.
I
Like
thought I
yeah
thought
dice
the
in
same thing.
the.
the
I'm like,
cups shell
because the only
game
thing with
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this
yeah.
would work is like this works for us now because we've seen
Mhm.
Squid Game. But like, yeah, in other words, like this, like yeah, like when I was watching the reality version of Squid Game, they knew about yeah, like the cookie and like all those things because it's like yeah, it's like they watch Squid Game so they know this. But like yeah, you do the relay race that they did in this season. I wouldn't know half those games. Like as I'm watching it, I have to figure out how those games were being done.
yeah
But yeah, no,
I still don't know about the one where you have to throw the die and catch it and all that. Like,
yeah,
I,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But I'm sure we'll learn more. My last little nitpick here before we wrap this thing up is the one thing I didn't like was this just like a moment with the pink soldier burning the entire record room. Like sure, I guess in the end there was an explosion, so it was all gonna go away anyways. But like before that, there's now thousands of players, presumably missing people that their
Yeah.
families will
Mm-hmm.
now never get closure for. Like their records are just gone. And it's like you could at least burn your 2 pages. Yours and like the person you saved and
She
leave the
even burned her
rest
full
of it.
page. She
But
kept she kept the
yeah.
photo. She didn't even burn the whole
Well, it was a
page.
good photo of her, so she had to keep
Oh,
it. But those are hard to get sometimes. But like leave the evidence of this heinous crime. Like leave this stuff here. Instead, you just burn it so now there's no record. And I mean, again, there ended up being an explosion, but at that point she didn't know that. Like, I don't know. That was just like the one thing where it's just like, yeah, now there's like no record of this. And it's
Mhm.
just like gone. And all these thousands of people who've died, it's just like, oh, that's it.
and there was no real closure. Like you have all this explosion, like nobody detected it. Like
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
Coast Guard going to investigate. The people who are like found the island and know its location now aren't going to say, "Hey, let's go like find what's left." Like what?
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. And then also with the woman without her child or
Yeah.
but that was a scam, right?
Uh,
Because
The
from the
guy who said he
record
found
she
her.
found out that
mm,
everyone she knows is dead, right? That's what I thought.
That's what the record said. I wonder if that guy was
Which is
also
real.
on the payroll of these
Yeah.
guys, and they're trying to get rid of her by sending her to China to get killed. There's, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a loose end, like she
Yeah.
escaped. You know, like I don't know.
Uh-huh.
That was
I
my
was
thought.
worried that this end of the season, because when she was in the airport again, I thought it was going to be like another phone call, and then it was going to be like the end of season one, where it's just like, saying this whole thing. She like skips the plane, and it's like, I'm coming back for you. It's like, oh god, here we go again. The same thing. But I don't know. I mean, again, I know we were hot today on these these two shows, but and I think with both of them, it's like there's a lot I like, but there's so
Yeah.
much that
Of
I'm like
course.
struggling with these last few seasons. Like I think like both the Bear season 1 and 2, wow. Squid Game season 1, wow. And then these other seasons, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's easy to see where it's falling short in comparison to other seasons, and that
Yeah.
yeah,
is a little disappointing from a viewer. So
yeah. All right. Well, an extra long one today. Hopefully that will tide you over because we're gonna be off for a bit. We're gonna be off for August, and then we'll be back hopefully in September. During this time, we got a lot we can catch up on. We could catch up on Dexter Resurrection. John, he's back.
he's
He's alive
back.
and he's killing it. That's
Nope,
not that one.
not that one.
Uh,
This one.
I went out of order on you. He's alive and he's killing it, John. Dexter is
I
back.
don't Yeah,
We'll get
see.
to it. We will save it. We'll discuss the premiere of The Office spinoff, The Paper. And then we got the Emmy ceremony. We'll talk about the results. And of course, the box office draft results. I think almost all of our movies have premiered, except I think we have one more, The Naked Gun. Oh, no,
Mm.
Fantastic Four. John, you have two movies still in the hopper. So we'll see about them. Speaking of movies, this month marks the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future. So if this 90-minute episode wasn't enough for you, John and I did a little something special to our 30th anniversary podcast, which was 2 hours, which you can now hear in the podcast feed. So that's a lot of hours of the three of us talking. A little special thing for Back to the Future, who celebrated 40 years in July. Crazy. You can find these episodes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, doordynasty.com. We are live on Twitch today. Special little cross stream with Euromatic, a little crossover synergy special simulcast,
Yeah.
whatever it's called. Um,
The dual redundancy synergy.
yeah. Actually, if anything, we're piggybacking off of
I
Euromatic.
know.
But anyways, normally we're on Twitch, twitch.tv/doordynasty. We're always on YouTube. You can check out that on our YouTube page, youtube.com/doordynasty. Follow us on Instagram and on TikTok and Blue Sky at Dual Redundancy. I got to thank both you guys, not only for doing this on a Saturday, but for going long, talking Emmys and Bear and Squid Game for an hour and a half with me. I couldn't do this without you guys. I really appreciate it. And John directing the show, putting it up on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify and on YouTube. Really couldn't do it without you guys. Shout out to the chat, Seneca. I saw a lot of great comments. I wish I was more on it. I would have gotten more of those into the show, but a lot of good thoughts there. But yeah, that's all we got for today's episode. Until next time, I'm David Allen,
I'm Burke.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
and that's all we got for Do or Duncy. Goodbye, everybody.